Look, man, life is hard. And if you're trying to improve, then it's even harder. Like, I constantly used to second guess myself and consider giving up altogether. But then seemingly out of nowhere, everything came together for me. I met the girl of my dreams. We moved to a new city together. And soon after that, I started making some real money. That being said, here are the hidden signs that you might be closer to becoming a top 1% man than you realize. Or maybe it's the opposite in your case, and you're actually further away than you think. And look, these are not just from my life alone, but also from the lives of the other top men in my network who experienced basically the same exact things just before they made it big. So pay attention, lock in, watch all the way to the end of this video, and see how many of these items you can check off your checklist. Number 1, partying seems lame. Bro, I remember how epic it used to feel when I was rolling up to a classy nightclub with my bros. It was like the adventure is about to begin. We're gonna get drunk, we're gonna talk to some girls, get some phone numbers, and for sure, we're gonna create some wild stories that we're gonna tell tomorrow as we're all hungover and feeling the pain. Man, I used to literally live for those Friday and Saturday nights. But what I realized as I started to get momentum in other areas of my life, I started seeing gains in the gym. I started getting traction with this YouTube channel.
100,000 subscribers on YouTube, baby.
I finally had attractive girls who were into me and were down just to come over and chill. And at that point, the nightlife, it just started feeling a bit pointless. It's like, I've been there, I've done that, I know what that life is about. I don't need to be surrounded by drunk people in a dark room the next 3 hours. It's just, I'm good on that. So if you can relate to this, that likely means that you're starting to accumulate that momentum in other areas of your life as well. Number 2, your parents trust your decisions. So my baby girl is gonna be born literally any day now. Like, by the time you watch this video, she might be sitting next to me on this couch, just chilling. And because of that, I finally get it. Because already I am extremely worried about her overall health and well-being. And I'm sure it's gonna be that way for her entire life. And that's how your parents feel about you as well. So because of that, it's normal when we decide to create our own path in life that our parents get a little bit uneasy. They're like, what do you mean you're not just gonna get a salaried job and work your way up the corporate ladder until you die? They just don't want us taking unnecessary risks and ending up in a bad situation. Like, I'm already afraid for my unborn daughter, bro. I get it. So looking back on my life, the moment when my parents started to trust my risky decisions, and that didn't happen right away. You know, when I quit my corporate job, they were not cool with that. But later on, when I decided to move down to Texas, where I didn't know anyone, for example, and they trusted me, that was an early sign. You know, they sensed it before I did that I was on the right path. So my question for you is, how do your parents feel about your risks or the decisions that you're thinking about making? Number 3, you no longer sense hostility from other guys. Earlier in my 20s, I used to always play out these imaginary conflicts with other guys in my head. Like, what would happen if I'm at the bar and I get shouldered and he looks at me? You know, what am I gonna say back to him so he doesn't disrespect me? Or when I would meet a new guy, I'd be thinking, you know, I don't like this guy. Fuck this guy. This guy thinks he's better than me. And the funny thing is, even though I used to do that, now it just seems kind of strange to me. Like, at some point, I stopped playing these mind games and comparing myself to other guys. Like, does he have more money than I do? Maybe my girl's hotter than his, though. When you start to compete against yourself instead of other men, and now, you know, when I'm meeting people, I'm just bringing warm emotions and trying to connect with them. Well, that means that you're starting to focus 100% on your growth and your situation. And if that's where your mindset is and you're no longer comparing yourself, well, guess what? That means that the results are gonna follow very soon. Number 4, your anxiety is different. So right now I want you to think, what stresses you out? Seriously, what stresses you out? For me, it used to be this wild variety of things like, damn, why isn't this girl texting me back yet? What should I even be doing with my life, bro? Am I looking any more jacked than I did last month? Man, I wonder if those guys are still talking shit about me right now. And then what would I do? Well, I would try and hide from these intrusive thoughts by scrolling Instagram or rubbing one out or playing some Call of Duty. But at some point, my anxiety shifted. It's still there. I think it's impossible not to have anxiety. I'm a very anxious person, but now my anxiety is, you know, what more can I be doing today to make sure that we crush this launch of the new Beastly app in January? I feel like I haven't done enough today. What else do I need to be doing? And those thoughts, they drive me to compete every single day. So my question for you is, what is your anxiety saying to you? Number 5, there's more pain in your life. This is the fucked up thing about self-improvement. It actually increases our pain level because now I'm out there, approaching girls and getting rejected. That hurts. Now when I slip up and bap, I feel like a complete loser. When I let an opportunity pass me by, it sticks with me and it haunts me. And I'm thinking, man, never again will I miss an opportunity like that. Versus in the past, I'd be like, oh, it's no big deal, whatever. Now you might be aware that your money and your career is not where you want it to be. And it's painful to be aware of that and to admit that. So if you're feeling more pain in your life lately, that's a good sign. That means you're improving. That means you're not hiding from the pain anymore. But at the same time, this is what makes self-improvement so challenging. It can feel impossible at times. Like, I'm not gonna be able to stick with this long enough until I see results, man. It's not gonna happen for me, bro. Now I'm trying to improve and I feel alone and I'm facing all this pain and bullshit. And that is literally why I created Beast Nation. Beast Nation is what I wished I had back when I was getting started at a price point that I actually could have afforded back then. You see, with Beast Nation, not only do you get access to live weekly coaching calls with myself where I can give you feedback on your exact situation, but you're also joining a tribe of like-minded men who are pushing each other and competing to become the best versions of themselves. In the videos, you've probably seen some of the recent in-person events we've done in Texas and in Spain.
Everybody here is just really open to get to know you and see where your life is at.
And for me, surrounding myself with like-minded people is something that is really important because you can get their energy to be in this high energy state in order to, take action.
So being able to connect with guys that have gone through similar things or in the same path as you, that's been amazing.
It's easier to follow your goals and follow that path because you have like-minded people that are there to support you and that are there to keep you accountable.
So if that sounds like something that would be helpful to your situation, you can click that first link in description to learn more and join now. Heads up though, once we get to January 1st, which is less than 2 weeks away, the price is gonna jump. We kept it lower for the first year to reward the guys who took action and joined up. If you join now, you will be grandfathered in and lock in that lower price for life. Number 6, people are more reserved around you. I'm not sure about you, but for me, it used to feel like people would just walk all over me. Like I was an insignificant part of the conversation. I would have to react to them, defend my position, if they even acknowledged me or cared to think what I said. Let's be real though, back then I had a weaker presence. And if you have a weaker presence, it's natural that people are gonna be less worried about you. You're kind of just there. But the same way, if I'm talking to someone that I respect, I'm really gonna listen to them. I wanna hear their perspectives and their opinion. They can probably change my mind about something. Guess what? People will treat you the same way if they truly respect you. Even people who've never met you before. We all can kind of instantly recognize a man's level. Maybe it's his eye contact, maybe it's his body, maybe it's his style, maybe it's the way he speaks, maybe it's just the way that he moves. But there's something that signals to us, oh fuck, I gotta listen up to this guy. So if people are still not treating you like that, well, that might mean you got more work ahead of you than you thought. Number 7, it's getting harder to relate. At some point in my life when I became competent, I realized just how incompetent 90% of the population is. Most people, you're sitting there talking to them, they're complaining about their life while doing absolutely fucking nothing to change it. They're not even trying to critically think about it. So now whenever I notice someone complaining or speaking about their life in this powerless way, like they don't have the ability to impact it, I kind of tune out. And I can't really relate. Like the way I think now is if there's something I'm not happy about, all right, cool, it sucks, but what am I gonna do about it? That's all I'm thinking about. Okay, what am I gonna do about it? So can you relate to what I'm saying or are you still complaining? Number 8, new experiences seem exciting. I used to have my routine. I enjoyed the things I enjoyed and I just wanted to do more of them. I wanted to play basketball, lift weights, play video games, watch sports. But when something new came up that, maybe I could try, I'm all good. I would kind of shy away from it. Yeah, learning a martial art, that would be cool. That'd be badass. But I don't know. That kind of seems like a lot. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Can you relate to this feeling? Now be careful. It's easy to kind of cope here and to tell yourself, no, I'm just locked in. I'm just locked in, David. I don't need to distract myself with new things. But if I'm being honest, what I was doing was hiding. I was hiding from the unknown until I wasn't. Because at some point my confidence had grown, and now these new things were like challenges, like, ooh, I'm not sure about that, but bring it on. Let's see what I'm made out of. Whether it's traveling to new places, trying out new hobbies, or diving into a tough conversation, anything that kind of tests me, I'm excited about now. So if you've noticed that you're more open to trying new things lately, well, pay attention. That's a big hidden sign that your confidence has grown massively. All right, number 9. You have less friends. The harsh truth is that I used to spend a lot of time with friends because it was a convenient, easy way to pass the time without being alone. We could sit there, play video games, smoke, watch sports, and it was more comfortable. It was easier than sitting alone and reflecting or trying to create something, trying to be productive with my time. But what you're gonna notice is that as your time grows more valuable, because you're hustling and you're using it as a resource rather than looking at it as something just to pass by to get to tomorrow, naturally you're going to start avoiding passing the time by just hanging out with other guys. So if you started to notice you feel almost a bit guilty inside in these environments, well, that is a strong signal that you're valuing your time and yourself more than you did before. And with that mindset, that's a game changer. Success is inevitable at that point. Number 10, the dopamine just ain't hitting anymore. Dopamine was life, bro. Like, what do I got to do to get my next hit? That's how I used to operate. So I was always pursuing a girl so I could hook up with her and have that feel-good moment. I would be wanting to sleep in or just chill on the weekends and watch Netflix because it felt good. And if you think about it, when my life was not advancing at all, well, naturally, I'm going to chase dopamine because then I can at least feel good. We want to feel good. And if we're not feeling good by growing, well, we're going to feel good by doing whatever else we can do. But maybe lately you're starting to think bigger than that. And when you start to think bigger, dopamine doesn't mean that much anymore. Now the real win for me is seeing some growth. The real win is making sure that all of my businesses grow more in 2025 than they did in 2024. The real win is going to be sharing meaningful moments with my wife and my baby to be. Fuck the dopamine, bro. But be aware that this is a transition. So right now, maybe you're starting to feel like those dopamine activities, I still like them, but they're not hitting the same as they used to. And it's tough because at first your life just feels a little bit more dull and empty, but it actually means that you're on the right track and you're starting to focus more on the big wins. Number 11, you're no longer sharing your wins. So when I got that first career job as a software engineer, man, that title just sounded good. I'm a software engineer, and I knew that I was technically ahead of most people my age at the time. So whenever I met someone new, another guy or a girl, I would let them know, what do you do for work? Oh, cool. I'm a software engineer. So my question for you is, what is your biggest win that you're the most proud of? And when is the last time you told someone about it? Because at some point I realized the average person's not really experiencing that many new wins, so it's kind of meaningless to brag about these wins. And instead, I'm just gonna be focused on getting the next win of my life and proving to myself what I'm capable of. It's more important to me to get the next win than to tell you about my last one. Like, if we're gonna hang out, let's just chill and connect. No need to turn this into a measuring competition. Number 12, girls are no longer your motivation. So I'm curious to know, from 1 to 10, how hot is your current girl? Back when I was a lower level guy, from time to time, I could get lucky and I could pull a really attractive girl. And that made me proud, bro. That was the motivation. That's why I was working. But as I started to level up in different areas of my life, I realized luck mattered less because women have a sixth sense where they can immediately tell a guy's current level and his trajectory in life. So when you're starting to level up, you're gonna start to notice warmer reactions from more attractive girls. No, they're not gonna be like throwing themselves at you, taking their panties off at the gym and shaking their ass around in your face, but they're gonna be more warm and receptive when you speak to them. And at that point, I started to become aware, okay, I no longer have to be afraid of dying alone or with some ugly girl that I settled for. And then naturally, my focus started to shift to business instead of women. And just to be clear, this is not some
screw women, I'm focusing on myself, king. Cope.
No, this is just a natural shift from external to internal motivation. Now the goal is growth itself rather than growth so that I can get hot girls. Basically what I'm saying is, if you still feel like you got to get really lucky to pull an attractive girl, keep working. Now, speaking of hotter girls, if you want to be able to lock one down and actually keep her interested, well, you need to move a little bit differently versus with average girls. And that's why you need to watch this video next. It's about how to date the 9s and the 10s. Click there to watch that now. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.